Hi, my name is Tanesha, and today I'll be sharing my testimony with you. As a child growing up, I was forced to go to church every Sunday, and I just did not like or I wasn't encouraged by the way the Christians around me lived their lives. And as I became an adult, I drifted more away from church. We really only came to church for major holidays like Easter and Christmas. Nonetheless, I did all the right things. I got married in church. My children were both blessed in church. COVID happened and my social calendar disappeared. One of my best friends reached out to see if I wanted to join a new virtual young women's prayer group being created. I thought I was on the right track. Prayer group to build relationship with God, good marriage, happy kids, giving my all to extended family, supportive to friends, being kind to strangers, helping the less fortunate. I was a great human being and life was good. Then September 2021, I was diagnosed with breast cancer after my first routine mammogram. I was absolutely floored. How could God allow this to happen to me now when I'm trying to build a relationship with Him? I was livid with God. The strong, vibrant, sociable, confident person I was disappeared with that simple phone call. Fear of the unknown took over my life. I looked to my husband for comfort and support. However, he didn't know how to provide the emotional support I needed. All the band-aids in my marriage began to fall off, and over time, we started to discuss separation. After I got diagnosed with cancer, I thought I would have an overwhelming support system from my family. I received the typical cliches. You are lucky, you have the good cancer, and oh, sorry to hear. My parents, sister, aunts, cousins, they all reside here in Broward County, and I'm yet to see any of them since my diagnosis 2 years ago. I was isolated, in shock, and absolutely broken. Cancer treatment was sad, it was lonely, it was terrifying, walking into the hospitals, walking in for testing, for scans. With no experience with cancer, I thought I was going to die, leaving my 8 and 13-year-old sons without a mother. One of my doctors said I needed to see a therapist, and I did. And one day she asked, "What do you believe in? You need to find something to believe in." She suggested I give him another try, find a home church. It took me a while, but I did make a list of churches close to home that I wanted to visit. In the midst of all this, my husband also lost his job. We were at rock bottom with no support. November 20th, 2022, it was pouring rain. I would rather stay in bed being sad, but I felt moved to visit one of the churches on my list. It was Christ the Rock. I knew nothing about the church, knew no one, but I was impressed by the message, the energy in the room, and the diversity of the congregation. I was just encouraged. Everything I'd done before in my life, it all fell by the wayside when I really needed something, when I needed support. So I knew I needed to try something new, and that propelled me to continue coming back. I went home, told my husband and kids, and they suggested we should all go back together next Sunday. And we have not stopped coming since. With my husband losing his job, he was also looking for peace and some kind of motivation. And he started being interested in coming back to church. My older son, unbeknown to me, he set an alarm and would come and knock to say, "Hey, aren't we going to church today?" He wanted to come as well. Soon, my family started participating in all the activities the church offered for KOR and Shift, as well as the marriage conference and other couple events. I was just moved to try something new that we had never done before, making God the center of our lives and our marriage. I started to feel peace within myself. I prayed the salvation prayer, asked God to come into my life and help me, but not to put the pieces back together, to help me rebuild a new life with Him at the center. And that's exactly what He's been doing. Before, I was absolutely terrified about getting scans and going to the hospital. I was terrified about cancer recurrence. And since trying to build a relationship with God, I find that that's different for me now. I am not as terrified. I still am. I'm not as terrified. I have more faith in just knowing that I have support in God. In our darkest times, God puts people in our lives to help us. And it's not always the people you would expect. Yes, doctors and therapists to heal the body, but also ministry from a pastor and his wife, a welcoming smile from a stranger at Bible study, sister friends who travels hours to encourage you and get you out the bed, and a husband to see how marriage could be better, to prioritize his family, and supportive kids that just never wavered. This is my testimony, and I can't wait to hear yours.